Hello everybody, welcome back to Saptarishis Astrology. Today we are taking a session with Vishal Sharma. He's our author of a book on remedies, a much sought after part of astrology. So welcome Vishalji, a hearty welcome and congratulations for your upcoming and new book on astrology, astrological remedies. What prompted you, Vishalji, to write this book?
Okay, thank you, Nurada ji. Thank you for inviting me onto Saptarishi Astrology, and thank you to Sunil ji as well. Look, two things which prompted me to write this book. So one is that my mother, who is a co-author for this book, she's been into astrology for last 25 to 30 years, which has been in the family as well. Has been practicing that, and I learned astrology and Vastu predominantly from my mom, and over the years I also learned through various books as well. So she has been the driving force, but also I came in touch with Sunil ji for last nearly 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, and I've been working with him as a volunteer on Saptarishi Astrology, and while we were having a discussion one day, it came to me that I might be able to write a book on remedial measures for astrology as well as Vastu. So he actually encouraged me further to explore that part, and that's how it started. So in nutshell, it's probably the two driving forces is my mother and Sunil ji from Saptarishi. That's the main reason I wrote it. And now it's being published, and thank you to you as well, because you helped me in editing that book. So
it was nice editing the book, because the parts of Vastu and planets and were really very helpful, very different remedies that one got, not just the traditional, but you also inculcated the non-traditional part, which can be reached out to so many people who at times are unable to do the mantras because of their job constraints, because of cultural constraints, or because of a lot of other speech constraints. So they can do the practical or the non-traditional part of it, which was a very beautiful part. So moving ahead, what would you like to tell us about your book? The field is all yours.
I think even the main thing about this book, and why I believe that why I have written in a very different way. I call it is a very different way. It's very point to the point book. But what it covers is that you do remedies through after reading books or through consulting astrologer. But this one is different in the sense that I have actually categorized for 8 different types of remedies specifically for planets. So you can do donation, you can do recitation, you can do puja, you can do yoga, you can do what can you wear, what plants you can plant. So it's not everybody can do, say, for mantras or puja, but then there are other options they can do that. And then every planet will have specific remedies for each planet you can do. Then there are theme-based remedies, which is specifically targeting to a problem. If you have a problem of depression, if you have a problem of, say, marriage, relationship issues, or you're not getting a job, or you're having an issue to do with wealth, or you want to reduce your weight. So then there are specific remedies is targeted to for each problem. And then I have further taken up that all the 27 nakshatras are also covered, where I have actually covered 5 different types of remedies. So from mantras to donation to planting a tree, what puja and prayers you can do. So nakshatras have 5 different types. And then on top of that, there are 2 sections where this is a unique, because I have not only covered planets and nakshatra, then it comes on to Vastu. And so you have got remedies for Vastu with remedies and precautions for each respective zones of your house or a property. which also includes a topic or a section on decluttering, which I'm a big fan of decluttering as well. So that way, when you combine, you normally buy a book, you will have remedies on planets, or you will have, only a Vastu book. Here you have got three different things together: remedies on planets, remedies on nakshatras, and then remedies on Vastu as well. And on top of that, there are precautions as well, which also act as a remedies. It's just not, you do remedies, but there are precautions you have to take in life to overcome that. So that way, I firmly believe it's very unique that you don't get a flavor of three different things in the book.
Totally agree. I totally agree on that aspect of yours, where you can find everything that you want in basically one book. So and it's Astro Vastu. So that is also a very beautiful part of it. Can we have a few glimpses of your book?
Yeah, sure. I've actually, as I have watched the other videos of Saptarishis, I have actually prepared a deck. So let me just share my screen. Hopefully that will come. And can you see that now?
Yes, I can. Yes.
And are we on the right mode?
Yes, we are on the right mode. And this is the name of the book, Astrology and Vastu's Remedies for Happiness and Successful Life, by Renu Sharma and Vishal Sharma. So I guess your mother is Mrs. Renu Sharma, right?
Correct. Yeah. As I said, my mother has been into this profession. It was in her family. Her grandfather used to practice astrology, and in their family, further up in the tree, they used to do that. So she learned over a period of time. Then she practiced, and then I've been practicing Vastu and astrology probably for last 10 years now in this space. But my mother has been doing for last 30 years. So that's how it started. Coming back to the book, I've just mentioned that this is a unique way because we have got everything together. So there are approximately, I think, more than 600 plus remedies if you combine all of them. So it's a good collection of remedies. Let me show you what we have got. First of all, I wanted to again thank you to Sunilji for the inspiration and guidance. He has been the guiding force behind this. So my sincere thanks to Sunilji for this, and Saptarishi Astrology for bringing this out. I guess what I wanted to showcase or give you an idea what it is covers is that I want to show by taking an example of one planet, what are the 8 different types of remedies I have covered for each planet. So we'll just cover one by one for one planet, and just to give an idea.
Yeah.
Then
we'll go ahead.
Then there are problem. Yeah. Then there are problem and theme-based remedies. For specifically targeted in one specific section where all the problem-based remedies are there rather than planet-based remedies. So that's a separate section. Then obviously 27 nakshatras are there. So I've catered for each nakshatra with 5 different types. In addition to that, one thing I've also covered on each planet and nakshatra is their attributes, which is actually very important when you're doing the remedial measures, that you actually understand the attributes of each nakshatra, because sometimes if you understand the attribute, then it is easy to do the remedial measures.
Very true. So supposing you have a Pusha Nakshatra, and if you know that if you can water the people tree on a Thursday, so the tree is Pushya, people tree is for Pushya, and and Thursday is for Jupiter, who is Brihaspati,
the deity, who is the
deity
for
of the So
correct,
in that case, what happens is you can combine and you can do and that can be a lot of help to you. I totally agree with you on that.
So that way, if, I've actually, it's funny that you mentioned that, because actually I put a remedy on Pushya itself here. I'm actually covering but it's actually a good for people who have not got a good glimpse of nakshatra, and even it actually can be a good reference point for nakshatras itself as well, not only just remedies, but a good reference because the attributes are there. I guess the other bits, I've added some other bits about, how to do puja or how to do asanas, on what tithi you should worship. These are just additional things I have added. But the other point is the Vastu based remedies. We have got 16 zones. So what are the different zones? So I've covered one zone here. And obviously one section on decluttering, which is, as I said, I'm a big fan of decluttering. So we should definitely look into that. And on top of that, the other part of that, all the remedies which are suggested as pujas or mantras, I have actually collected them in appendix so that people don't have to go into the net or keep looking somewhere else. Most of it is there. Only one or two mantras might not be there, but all of them mantras which are our Hindi or Sanskrit mantras are actually compiled here in the appendix section in English. So anybody who can who knows English can probably go through that. So that's what I'm going to. That's what is in the book. So let's just go through that and show you with one. Again, before we read or before we people normally get excited. Okay, I've got a remedies book. Let me just go and start doing those remedies. So my question to everyone is that some of them are generic remedies which everyone can do. You don't have to consult an astrologer. These are basic day-to-day things which you can do. But my advice or my experience or whatever I have learned is that whatever remedy you have to do in a proper consultation. Just don't do that because people can make mistakes in that. So my advice to everyone is that please consult a proper astrologer, or if it is a Vastu remedy, then consult somebody who knows Vastu rather than just reading the book and then just jumping on the bandwagon to say, I want to do this. So that's just a caution for everyone. I guess the book actually starts with, gives a, so that's the only place in the first chapter, which is where I've written a lot of paragraphs and tried to put together a picture of, what a remedy is for, what type of elements we should be there. Because say, for example, a remedy has to be targeted according to your horoscope. So for example, if your sun is sitting in, say, fire sign, then you need to worry about, the remedy has to be catered for fire sign, not for the water sign. So in case of fire, you will be doing mantras or you will be doing yagnas in that case. If it is water, then you will be immersing some items in the water. If it is an air sign, then you will be doing puja and mantras, right? And if it is an earth sign, then you will be doing donations related to that. So that's why I think it is important to understand what your horoscope is, where your planets are placed, and then what remedies can you perform. Obviously, each zodiac sign refers to different directions. So when you're performing a remedy, what direction you need to use. Also, the concept of hora, in what hora you need to do on what day.
Yes.
So that's been mentioned. So there is a tabular format, which in fact you helped me out putting together the final one to do that. So, people don't have to go any panchang as such, but they can just look at on what day. If it is on Thursday, what are the horas for on that day, depending upon what is the sunrise on that day. And then there are other aspects of, what is the nature of that planet, whether it is an airy or a fiery planet, or whether it is a, Mula base, or what type of a caste of that planet is. So that classification is there. And the idea behind of mentioning that classification is that, again, just don't read the book and think, okay, son, there are so many remedies, because everyone's individual chart will have to define or use these remedies according to their chart, not just what is there in the book. So, because of these, what zodiac each planet is placed and what is the position or what is the condition of that planet is, you have to cater for that. So that's there. So once we get a hang of what is in that chapter which covers that aspect, then it straight away jumps into the planets, and so it gives you a big some insights on what is its type, what is its gender, what is the color is being used, what direction, and so forth. That's just basic attributes of a planet. And then, as I said, there are 8 different ways of doing a remedy. One is you do a recitation of mantra. So I've given, say, for example, okay, so let's, as I said, we have covered 8 types of it. Let's jump into one of the examples which I put, which is for sun. So, for example, if you have to recite what mantras you can recite. So, typical, which is a very famous one, is you can do Gayatri mantra, or you can do Aditya Hridayam Stotra, right? And so, if you want to do Aditya Hridayam Stotra, again, depending upon where sun is placed in your chart, that which is actually covered also in the appendix section, so you don't have to go anywhere.
Yes, just a second. We lost you somewhere. So can I? So what you meant to say was that Aditya Hridayam Stotra can be done by anybody, as depending on their position, placement of sun in their chart, right?
Correct. Correct. I mean, if sun is, if sun is weak, and you want to improve sun, because sun is a very vital planet in your chart.
Yeah.
Without sun being strong, then you face a lot of trouble in your life, right?
Hmm.
So Aditya Hridayam Stotra will help you to enhance the attributes or the significance of sun in your life. So that's actually a very good stotra for sun. Or the other one is, you can also do Gayatri Mantra as well. That's a very powerful stotra for sun. But I normally I've seen better results with Aditya Hridayam Stotra when we
No,
do.
and moreover, only Gayatri Mantra should be done only by those who have been initiated into the path. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah,
work.
yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm saying that, again and again, that you cannot just look at the book and, just jump onto the remedies. You better have a proper consultation
Yeah,
before you
but
do that.
Aditya Hridayam Stotra, again, to what I know, what is that it can be done by anybody, because it's
Yeah,
which is which provides that power to everybody.
yes. I actually now I don't have the context. I think it's probably mentioned somewhere, but I think it's a good glorification of sun in that
Yes,
stotra.
yes,
Um,
and it is written. It was when Ramchandraji was going to fight the battle. Then
yes,
was when he was,
I
asked
think
to do.
there is a mythology story around that. Yeah.
Yes, so that worked
Okay.
beautifully.
The other one, as we know, you mentioned what Ram, Lord Rama was Surya Vanshi as well. He came from
Yes.
that ancestral tree as such. So
Uh,
for worshipping sun, it's also to take the name of Lord Rama. So that way you can recite, this. I normally advise everyone to use
mm,
Shri Ram Ram Rameti. That's a very good mantra. In fact, I think it is mentioned in somewhere as part of the Vishnu Sahasranam as well, that you can recite this mantra. Uh, and I actually used this same mantra for Hanuman Chalisa as well. I actually have found that when you recite Hanuman Chalisa, in fact, before reciting Hanuman Chalisa, if you recite this mantra and you are actually invoking Lord Rama to come, because Hanumanji is the bhakt for Lord Rama. So if you use this mantra 3 times and then you recite Hanuman Chalisa, it does wonders for you. So it is also, you can use in case of Mars as well when you're doing Hanuman Chalisa.
okay.
The other one, the other one is, just if you have to worship sun, or do a remedy, pouring water or giving the jal to
This.
sun in the morning in a copper utensil. That's a common one which we have to do. That's just us paying namaskar uh, to
Yes.
Surya. So that's something we normally there. And so I've described how you do that. It's not that just go and pour the water. You have to do properly up in the air, and make sure that you see the sun through the stream of water.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. So you
um,
imbibe the energies in your system.
Correct. Um, and also, because if you do the Surya remedy, specifically in the early morning, the rays and the morning are different as compared to the rays which is in the afternoon as well as in the evening. The morning rays has got a more,
Of
specifically if you need a vitamin D, the morning rays,
antiviral
it actually,
properties.
correct. So the morning is actually more beneficial than any other time of
The day.
specifically for sun and to doing any worshipping of sun. Going continuing on the theme that what plant, if you can't do this, okay, what plant you can do, and that's more to do with the earthy element side of your placement. So you can do Indian plum, you can do bear, you can do bale trees. Um, Sorry, you can do bear, you can do Indian zuzubi or Indian plum. These are the trees which you can either plant, or you can, if you know somewhere nearby you can go and water to it or look after it. That's one thing you can do it. um, the other one is the donation part. We can donate sun related items like wheat for donation, or any item which is related to sun. You can donate that. So I haven't mentioned few more items like which you can donate. The other way of doing it is fasting, right? So if your sun is weak or debilitated, for example, then fasting can also be used for removing the effects of that debilitation or weakness for sun. if that is not possible, then some people do believe in wearing some gemstone or rudraksh. So I have mentioned for every planet, what are the different rudraksh you can wear. So for example, for sun, ekmukhi, one, only one. I don't know what to say in English, but we call it as a one mukhi rudraksh or
It's a
12 mukhi rudraksh.
yeah, it's the one faced. It
So
will
one
just have
face,
one.
one
It
face.
was very rare. It's a very rare Rudraksh, the one faced. But again, I think you should be very cautious of wearing that Rudraksh, because the
Correct.
one Mukhi Rudraksh can be only given to you as an initiation by your
Right.
guru.
Right. Yeah. In fact, there's a famous story that former Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, used to wear only one mukhi rudraksh all the time.
Okay.
She's known that she used to wear that. And again, if you can't wear that, then rubies, as we know, is the popular stone or gemstone for sun. Then the other flavor is okay. If you can't do that, can you do yoga? Right. And nowadays it's very popular in India, even in West as well. Yoga is very popular. So Surya Namaskar is one of the best exercise, not only for keeping you healthy, because it covers so many different aspects of yoga, but also it helps to enhance the qualities of sun by doing this yoga. So once so these are 7 different types of way you can do a remedy, and the 8th one is about precautions. So not only you have to do this, but you can do precautions. So in the book, I have actually specified for respective house, when sun is placed in each house, what precautions you can do that. So for example, in 5th house, sun is there, right? Avoid telling lies. Don't be jealous of others' property, and so every house has or every planet has been given a precaution according to in respective houses. So these are
Yeah.
the 8 ways you can do that. Let me see.
Yes. So we are moving on to theme based.
Yeah.
So
So in the book we have remedies for all the planets like that, and there are
yeah.
more of them. I've just given some simple glimpses of each planet, but there will be more further down in sun as well under
Yes.
each category. Now, then there is a specific section within the book after all the 9 planets are covered, which are problem-based remedies. So, for example, I'll just put few ones here. But say, for example, if you have an eye disease, what can you do if you need a recognition of promotion? So these are directly related to sun, but this is a theme or a problem.
Right.
If you have to recover your loan, what can you do, which is more to do with Mars? And if you have to do gain or weight or lose weight, what do you have to do in terms of which is related to Jupiter here? So, for example, if you have an eye disease, you can use the Chakshu Stotra, which is predominantly Chakshu means eyes, right? So it's an Upanishad. I forgot. I think it's in Rig Veda. It's being mentioned that if you recite this, it actually helps you in your vision and also cures diseases in your eye. And so this one has been used by, I have actually recommended, in fact my mother has recommended to so many people, which has made difference in their vision, specifically people with cataract. It has made a difference when they keep reciting this stotra regularly. Again, for people who do a lot of hard work in work and they don't get fame or they don't get recognition, fame and recognition, sun represents that. So worshipping sun,
The fame, the
really.
name, yes, because it is
Yeah.
the most
So
glorious of all planets. So it gives you
yeah,
that aura, that gives you that brightness around you.
yeah, yeah. So sun is predominantly if you use remedies for sun, it will help you. And then again, for recovery of loan money, that's more to do with Mars here. So for example, one of the simple remedies, which is take a 2 red bricks. Yeah, India may you can find 2 red bricks, and then tie in a white piece of cloth, and then take it out somewhere which is a little bit lonely, but just dig them in a earth, or just make a hole or dig the place and put it there, and try to do it on a Tuesday. This remedy is predominantly for those people who have given money to somebody and they have not returned their money, and they've said, I can't. And in fact, after demonetization in India, I have seen lot of people who have taken from money in business, but then they said, oh, I don't have the money to give you back. So I see a lot of people calling my mom to say, we are not getting money. So my mom has actually recommended this, and some people have actually got good results out of that
Sorry.
by doing that.
That's a
So
good
it's
one. It is a really good one, and it is to be done on a waxing moon, if you say.
okay.
And
Most of the remedies has to be done in Shukla Paksh. We normally don't recommend remedies to do in Krishna Paksh. Start from Shukla Paksh.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is the waxing moon here.
Yes. Okay. So, and to gain and lose weight, I think the ladies would like to pay a little more attention on that.
So this is a very simple one. I'm sure there are a few more there, but because Jupiter is responsible for fat, right? So
and it's
if
also an expansive planet. It's also an expansive.
Correct. So wherever it sits, it will expand that. So what that means is that on a Thursday specifically, if you have to gain, if you have to lose, obviously, then don't eat during Jupiter's Hora, first of all, because if you eat during Jupiter's Hora, anything you eat on that day, it will actually multiply by that. And also don't eat during the second Hora. That's one of the other Horas where you should not eat to lose your weight. But if you have to gain weight, then obviously eat during the Jupiter's Hora. So find Jupiter's Hora. If you're weak and your children, sometimes moms are very cautious about their children. My son or my daughter is not putting on weight. He's so weak, and So if you want to put on weight, then eat during the Jupiter's Hora, specifically on a Jupiter. So that's a very simple way of doing it. And again, in the book, we have a table there. You can just go and refer the table, what hora it is, depending upon what is your sunrise from sunrise. Okay, so there are quite a few number of remedies like that, which is mentioned.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. And we're just giving them a glimpse of what is in the book. So all of you can actually take a lot of remedies, practical remedies from this book. A lot of practical remedies, which I really liked, easy to do.
Yeah, I mean, there is no, some of them are really easy. You just don't have to do much effort. Just have to be careful of. Sorry, just have to be mindful of what you are doing. That's
aware, in full awareness.
Yeah. Okay. Then obviously, as I said, we have got remedies for each nakshatra, and again, there are 5 different ways of doing it. So rather than just going into I have taken an example of Pushya. Luckily, I didn't know that you mentioned Pushya, but for as I said earlier, the starting of each nakshatra, we have put a section which is about telling you what this nakshatra stands for, what is its nature, what is the gender of that, what is the caste, what is the ruling deity, and what is the lord. Right? So people do get confused, ruling planet and ruling deity. It is always advisable for nakshatra to actually cater for ruling deity.
Yes.
As compared to the ruling planet when you're doing a remedy. Okay, so I've taken an example of Pushya, and for Pushya, people, listening to the Narayan Kavach is a fantastic remedy. Specifically, if you can't, recite, and if you can recite, that's fantastic. But if you can listen to Narayan Kavach specifically in the evening, when the sun is setting, what we call as Sandhya Kal, and night is coming, and it's just the evening time, and then you can recite Narayan Kavach or listen to that. Will do wonders for you, specifically if you have any key planet sitting in Pushya Nakshatra. If you want to do it otherwise, it's okay. But if any specific planet like Moon is sitting in Pushya Nakshatra, then it will do wonders for you. In that case, it will become your Janam Nakshatra if Moon is sitting there. And then you can use a Bij mantra like Om Kam to recite 108 times. That you can do. If it is your Janam Nakshatra, you can do any time, whatever time you want to do it. For example, the puja you can do is because the ruling deity is Jupiter, so anything to do with Jupiter or any mantra to do with Jupiter, then you can use the mantra for Jupiter. And obviously, you can do worship Lakshmi, Saraswati, or Aditi, or Goddess Durga as well for this nakshatra. In terms of donation, you can donate food or items related to Jupiter as well, because it's the ruling deity, or you can feed a cow for this nakshatra. You can plant, as you mentioned, people is there. You can look after people specifically on Thursday, because that's the ruling deity again, or Ashwatha, that's another plant which we use. But people is very common in India for this one, so you can do
Yeah,
it
but
easily.
people living abroad, they can find the ficus tree and they can have a, if
Yeah.
they do not find that people tree, then they can find the ficus and they can work on it. It also works.
Yes, the other one, I've been in Australia for such for last 17, 18 years now. I actually found people where I used to live nearby, so I actually go there sometimes and worship on Saturday. I don't have any nakshatra I don't have any planet in Pushya, but I definitely found people
Yeah.
here as well.
Yeah, it strengthens your working abilities. It grounds you very much.
Right, right. And then there are other remedies depending upon these. Some of the remedies you can actually just look at the significations of the nakshatra and actually think about like that. So I've just put some of them. Paying gratitude towards your guru or priest or cows. These are just again, you have to be mindful and aware of what you're doing rather than anything else. So that's predominantly. So you will get a section like that for each nakshatra in the book. And also all the attributes for each nakshatra. Then I've just added some other bits and pieces just as an additional interest. What type of mat to use while you're worshipping. Whom to worship on each tithi. So each tithi has got a specific deity you can worship on if you really want to target that way. So that's actually mentioned. And then I've also mentioned, what are the uses of peacock feather and some other, so there are some other useful remedies which I have mentioned in the book.
Yeah, so we have covered quite a vast topic in the book.
Yeah. So that way we have covered planets and nakshatras.
Nakshatras.
And so then the other part is which is again, as I said, it's you normally don't see in Vastu in a planet or nakshatra book or nakshatra or planets in Vastu book. So I've covered Vastu as well, and so you will find there that because the property or a place where you want to do Vastu is actually divided in 16 zones, typically in 16 zones. So what is covered in the book is what are the signification of each zone, right? So for example, north as an example represent new openings and clients. So if you are into business and you want new openings and new clients, then you need to make sure that your north is being looked after. The planet represented by north is Mercury. The color is blue. Element is water, right? So what do you do for north? Well, you can put a brass kuber, or you can put a green scenery on your north wall. This is a popular one, putting a money plant in a blue vase or a purple vase. If you actually put any money plant within north, it actually does wonders for you, specifically when opening up new opportunities or bringing up new clients. And that's a very popular remedy, and it actually works. I have recommended so many times, and sometimes the results are instant. The only thing is that you cannot do remedy for one zone on its own. You have to look holistically of all the zones because you have to balance respective zones. So you just can't say, I put money plant in the north and nothing is happening. No wonder it will not happen, because you have to look at other parts of the zone of your structure and then balance those energy imbalances. And then when everything is in harmony, then things start work on it. And I also mentioned, what could be the preferred if you are doing something. So this is a zone for healing as well. Northeast of healing. So if you want to, if you're a doctor and you consult your patients, so it's better to sit in north rather than anywhere else. Again, because it's a zone of water, obviously you can't put anything red color or anything to do with fires, right? Because in Vastu you have got 5 elements, right? So fire, water, earth, space, and what is the other one?
Air.
Air, right? So So depending upon which element is where and which element is supports and which element destructs that element, and that's where you need a Vastu consultation before you jump onto these remedies. So I have mentioned that for every 16 directions, what can go there and what cannot go there. But precautions you can definitely do without even consulting anyone, because you know that this is the zone, as long as you know which is not.
Yes.
Okay. Then again, also from here as well, and then I've actually articulated or put together theme-based remedies. If you have a problem statement in life, whether to do with wish fulfillment, whether to do with money, whether to do with social connections, or whether to do with fame and recognition, whether to do with clients. So for example, depression, if you have problem of depression, then you must check your northwest zone. Make sure that there is no clutter or there is no items in northwest zone, because that will lead to depression. Ensure there is no fire element as well. Similarly, if people have knee problems, then some of the things you need to check is southeast and northwest zone. What's going in your southeast and northwest? Again, there is no rubbish or fire element. And so there are remedies for different problems in the book, which you can refer and apply that. But my only advice is that in Vastu, you just cannot take one single zone and apply that remedy. You have to look holistically the whole picture before you do that, because you have to balance all part of it.
Okay.
And the other one, which I said is connected to Vastu, is decluttering. And decluttering is actually is pretty big in countries like Japan and in China. I believe in China as well, but Japan I know is pretty big. A lot of people believe in that. In fact, in Australia as well, they're big on decluttering. And so I have mentioned specifically why we should do decluttering, on what day we should do decluttering. So I've mentioned that the day for decluttering, ideally, and the day to throw out your stuff or clean your house is Saturday. And that's the day you should do your decluttering. Whether you do it on another day or not, but if you do it on Saturday, it will do really well for you. It will do wonders for you. So for an example, I have mentioned, how do you organize your clothes, or how do you organize your
wardrobe?
Your wardrobe, right? So for example, if your Venus is exalted, for example, right? So if your Venus is exalted, you will always see that your bed is pretty well trimmed, and your sheets are well aligned, your blanket is well aligned. But if your Venus is debilitated, you will see people who have Venus debilitated. They will throw their clothes somewhere here. They will never iron their clothes. They will not, they will probably wear a cloth which is not ironed, or will just dump in their wardrobe. Wardrobe is not organized. So for example, socks, for example, how do you align your clothes, and how do you put your socks? Because socks represents Venus as well. And clothes. So normally in everywhere, most of the time, the way we do clothes is that we normally stack up clothes like this from top to bottom as a stack. And the reason we should not stack clothes like that is because the idea behind decluttering is that you should have only that much item in your house, or that many items in your house which you can use, not something which you think I will be using in next 12 months or 24 months. We have this tendency of, oh no, maybe we can use it. Sometime it will be of some use, or you have an emotional connect.
You hoard things up way too much.
Correct. So the idea behind decluttering is that when you buy a stuff, make sure you have a place for it before you buy it. Otherwise, that if you don't have a place for that object or that entity or that thing which you have bought, it will keep moving around from one place to another, and it will not be, and you will be not doing justice to that, because the philosophy is that everything you have in your house has an energy and speak to you and talk to you. So if you are not paying respect or gratitude to that object by moving around, then it is not going to give you the desired results. So that's a big belief in anything you buy. So for that, you have to have object. When you buy something, make sure you have a dedicated place for it before you buy that. Now, coming back to clothes, one of the things we should always do with clothes, because we normally keep hoarding it. One is we should always have separate clothes for winter and summer. Like, when I was growing up in India, we always used to pack clothes for summer and then take it out for winter. But nowadays, we just dump it in our wardrobe, summer and winter. Ideally, you should have different sections for summer and winter. clothes should be put in a way that it actually moves from, so that you align your clothes from left to right. And the way you hang your clothes or put your clothes is that it's like an arrow which is moving from left to right upwards. So if you draw an arrow on a piece of paper from left to right, upwards arrow, going further up in the air, your clothes should be always aligned from left to right. So you put your lighter clothes on left and you move up towards the right. So the arrow has to go, so the clothes has to be aligned in your wardrobe so that the height increases from left to right, so that it becomes a
elevation.
arrow,
Yeah,
elevation, correct. So and but you don't stack the clothes on top of each other. You put the clothes like a book. In a bookshelf, we always put clothes. We book one to one like this. We do that. But clothes, we do that. By doing that, what we do is we actually put more clothes in it. And the idea is that if you put too many clothes, you will only wear 6 or 8. Whatever you wear in 6 months or 8 months. If you have not tried or haven't used your clothes for 12 months, it is unlikely that you will use it again, right? So that cloth has to go on. Don't keep any emotional value, just donate it to somebody. So the idea is that if you stack up that, you will have more. But if you stack like a book, vertically aligned, then it will take less space and you will have less items to keep in your wardrobe. And so that way,
over a period of time, you will only have enough that you need, not what you want.
Correct. Well, sometimes I feel, I can wear after 2 years or 3 years. This is my, in my mom's house. Whenever I go, I see, there is so much stuff which is lying around for years and years, and we say, well, why don't you throw that or donate that? Well, I want to use it. So it's something, I don't know. We have an emotional connect, but my suggestion is, is that we should not hoard things. We should have minimal stuff, and let the energy flow within your house rather than just cluttering everything. Same goes with socks. Socks, I take it up because now most of the people, what they do is socks. They actually tie the knot on socks and then keep in their wardrobe. So I've seen so many people who tie their knots and they have relationship problems because it is Venus. And you also wear in your feet, which is where you wear through shoes, which is Saturn. So Saturn and Venus, which are the two best friends. If you tie the knots in your socks, you are actually hurting your Venus, right? So always recommended that you should never ever tie the knot in your socks. Just fold them properly, and again align them vertically. And don't combine your socks with your undergarments. Have your undergarments separately. Have your socks separately. Have your handkerchiefs separately. Have a proper space for these clothes. If you don't, then it doesn't work. It doesn't give you that desired results. Again, books has to be vertically aligned, and if you have reference books, that's okay. But there will be so many books which you probably haven't read, or you bought it because you thought you will read it, but then you decided, oh no, it's not a good book. My suggestion is that you better donate into a library or to somebody who can read it rather than just keeping in your bookshelf for no reason. Oops. What did I? Sorry, I think I forgot. Yeah, so the books is also has to be aligned in that way. So in nutshell, if you look at this, there are obviously other sections in the book, but this is just to give an idea of why decluttering is important. And my firmly belief is paying gratitude to everything you buy in the house or you get into the house. Paying gratitude and respect, they will give you the same thing in life. So that's pretty much it on decluttering. And then that's just the last point, but that's how the book is structured, roughly around these 3 or 4 themes: astro, nakshatra, vastu, and decluttering.
It was a really very enlightening session because we understood decluttering was a very, very interesting session, and nakshatra, and there's so many remedies to be had from this. We really wish that our authors, other people will take note from here, and a happy reading to our viewers, and all the best for your book, and hoping many more from you, Vishalji. Thank you.
Thank you, Anuradhaji. Thank you, Anuradhaji, and thank you, Saptarishis Astrology, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay.